Information Officer with the City of Tallahassee's Communications Department. At this time, we will open with a prayer by Shirley Pittman, a niece of Congresswoman Carrie Meek.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How's everybody? Okay. Let's bow our heads. Our Father, the one and only who can never be replaced. Our shepherd who lead and guide us, and we shall not want. Our master planner of the heavens and earth. Thank you for your love, your mercy, your grace, and your goodness. Thank you for your thoughts toward us, thoughts of good health, thoughts to prosper us, thoughts to bless our coming in and going out, thoughts to give us peace that surpasses all understanding. Thank you for the good times and bad times, but we know all things work together for our good because our hope is in you. Thank you for our families, friends, governmental officials who have all joined us on today on this momentous occasion that will forever be cherished by many. Now, as we come down to opening the ceremony, remember us as you bless Betty Pittman, a family member and the originator of this idea in honor of her aunt. Bless the city commissioners, county commissioners, mayor, and other officials who granted this idea of honoring your servant, the late Honorable Congresswoman Carrie Pittman Meek, as Bronough Street is renamed on her behalf. We praise you now as a cloud of witnesses are surrounded by the outpouring of your love. We ask you to do what only you can do for your people as we all go forward with the work of the land. Now, be unto us according to your will. Amen.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pittman. Not only is it a beautiful day in the neighborhood, it's a great day to celebrate a shero of our community, the Allen Subdivision's own, the late U.S. Congresswoman Carrie Meek. But first, I'd like to recognize some guests and have them stand. First, members of Ms. Meek's family, please stand. Family members. Neighbors past and current from the Allen Subdivision. Florida A&M University representatives. Ms. Meek's sorority sisters, members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She was initiated in 1946 in the Beta Alpha chapter at FAMU. Our elected officials, city commissioners, city manager, deputy city manager, assistant city managers, thank you. Leon County officials. Thank you. At this time, we will have remarks from Tallahassee Mayor John E. Daly, followed by Leon County Commissioner and Chair Bill Proctor. Mr. Mayor.
Well, good morning. What a glorious day it is today. Usually we start off with a joke trying to claim credit for the weather, but I think today it was the Pittman family, the Meek family that had the weather and did a great job. To the family, what an honor and a privilege it is to participate today, and I certainly do appreciate it. And to my colleagues that are here, thank you for joining us as well. I appreciate the opportunity to speak before Chairman Proctor. He is so dynamic on the microphone. I always look bad when I have to follow the chairman. But Bill, it is great to be here, and it's great to be here with you. On a separate note, the chairman and I were just talking that what a special day it is today. It was about a decade ago, if you recall, that the chairman and I were here as members of the county commission for the renaming of Jakes and Patterson Street, which we championed on the county commission together. And now here we are today for this special event. And Bill, these are the type of things that I look back and reflect on and that are very memorable in our careers. And it's good to be here with you and all of our colleagues. To the neighbors, it is so wonderful to be back in the neighborhood and to be with you here today. And thank you so much. This neighborhood means so much to all of us and to the university. And it's just an honor and a privilege. And obviously to the sisters of Delta Sigma Theta sorority. It is good to be here today. Joy, it is great to see you. Let me give you a shout out. Delta Sigma Theta is the only fraternal organization recognized by the United Nations for the work that you do internationally on behalf of women and children. I got street cred now for knowing that, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is John Daly. I am the proud mayor of the great city of Tallahassee, and it is. Am I catching a little bit from you here, Diane? Now, right? But, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to be here today on behalf of the city, all of our residents, as we celebrate this amazing woman and this fearless leader with the renaming of our street. Carrie Pittman Meek came from humble beginnings, and the youngest of 12 children, the daughter of a sharecropper, the granddaughter of a slave. She went on to open pathways nationwide through her work as an educator and as a stateswoman, helping others to improve their own lives and communities. She championed such issues as economic development, healthcare, education, and housing. She was also a staunch advocate for immigrants and for the elderly. As of today, South Bronough Street from FAMU Way to West Palmer Avenue will officially become Carrie Pittman Meek Street in honor of the late U.S. Congresswoman who grew up right here in the Allen Subdivision neighborhood, just steps away from her alma mater, Florida A&M University, the #1 public HBCU in the nation. It is my hope that honoring her name so prominently here in our capital city and in her former neighborhood will definitely inspire the next generation of leaders. And folks, it was 1 year ago this month that Congresswoman Carrie Meek passed away at the age of 95. And she accomplished so many great things during her lifetime as a public official, as a college administrator, and as an educator. Let us always remember her commitment and service to this community, to the state of Florida, and to the United States of America. What a privilege it is to participate today. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to introduce the chairman of the Leon County Commission, Chairman Bill Proctor.
Yes, sir. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's always difficult to come behind the mayor of the city because they do such thorough homework and research, and I come from the county and my notes are late and the homework didn't get submitted, and they send the co-chairman out there with nothing. Come on, man. So the mayor has said all the things that had our researchers gotten busy on time, I would have said some of that too. But we concur that the mayor has spoken very, very ably to the merits of why a street here today would be. Now, I don't know who that is coming across there with that camera, but we're going to have to charge them, Mr. Mayor, for which one of that W? Yeah, just things important not to be late on. Mr. Stryker, where's Mr. Stryker? Wave your hands in there like you just don't care, Brother Stryker. Brother Laverne Washington, Miss Massey, Dolores, where is you? Harpool, yep, right there. Anytime them two get together right there, anything can happen. And the coalescence of their agreement that this needed to occur in this neighborhood shows you when the impetus of great genius, those who love this community, who come from this community, powerful. Now you don't get an isolated Carrie Meeks Pittman, a Pittman Meeks. It occurs because the whole community, Melvin Street, and Hudson Street, and Bruno Street, and Harrison Street, and what was Canal Street, bounded by, what was Martin Luther King before they changed the name of Martin Luther King? What that was? Boulevard Street, and then Adams Street, and everything in here known as Allen Subdivision. It was compressed. It had, and in that intermix, you know, you say diamonds are made out of pressure and compression of weight coming together. And with the spirits and the hearts and the minds and the values and the people and the love and the drive and the commitment to raising children that will be somebody, that's what this village made. And the village that it takes that village to make a child. It takes that village to make visionaries. It takes a village to make gallant stars. It takes a village to produce Carrie. And so we say thank you to the village that is out. And all over Leon County, we have villages like this where wonderful people have sprung forth and have represented and held the bloodstained banner high. And we respect each of you because the roles, the interplay, we're going to borrow some sugar from them, go down the street, get some stick of butter from over there. Tell man, can she keep my baby? I keep hers on the weekend. Y'all know. Y'all know. But then there's something else to be said. Mr. Mayor said it. It's probably going to be rare in our lifetimes that we find two sisters named Carrie whose names adorn crossing streets. Wilhelmina Jakes, Carrie Patterson. But at the top of it is Carrie Meeks. And we got two Carries, and we can give Jakes and we can give Patterson another hand for what we put up 10 years ago. Finally, I want to say, and Commissioner Williams said that the preacher gets to say finally 3 times. And then he said, as I go to my seat, and if y'all would just afford me just 3 more minutes to close, and, you know, all those kind of things. No, that's purely Baptist, We want to say to this community, to the family, the Meeks, how impactful, and I just will say to you what I shared with my class on Wednesday as to why we would not have class today. And I said to my constitutional law classes on Wednesday that the lady whose name is on the Meek Eaton Center, and I thought I saw Dr. Dawson. Dr. Dawson, where you at? Wave your hands, Dr. Dawson. Dr. Muriel Dawson, curator of our Meek Eaton Center, that this lady secured funding so that that museum could be placed on Florida A&M University's campus. I thought I saw her aide, Tola Thompson, here, who thought it not robbery to be here. Tola, wave your hands in the air. And he would tell you, and one person who served day after day, week after week, and month after month, the chief of staff pushing the agenda for this great Congresswoman, Tola Thompson. And then I said to my class that in the midst of this voting season, y'all, we got a precinct right up there at the Grand Ballroom. It's a universal precinct. You ought to show up and go to it. And that Carrie Meek represented the highest ideas of what democracy can produce and the qualities of what a woman brought to the Florida legislature and to the United States Congress. That's why I think it not robbery to come here today and to tell my classes you're invited here today, but it'll be a better mark of your time to come and learn right across the campus here at Meeks and Jakes and Patterson Street than whatever it was your teacher was going to say on Friday. Look, I love y'all. Tallahassee, let's stay together. We want you to remember to vote, and Carrie was a Democrat.
Thank you to our speakers, Mayor Daley and Chairman of the Commission, Proctor. Now, we'll hear from two women who knew Ms. Meek very well, her nieces, Betty Pittman and Shirley Pittman. They will be followed by the researcher and author, Dolores Harpool.
Good morning. Put these eyes on. Okay. First and foremost, I would like to thank God for His grace to be here to witness this occasion. My aunt, the late Congresswoman Carrie Pittman Meek, now a street, has her name. I know she has a big smile on her face. I want to thank Commissioner Diane Cox, Curtis Richardson, Bill Proctor, Mayor John Daly, Karen Kersey, and all the city employees. Also, the whole Allen Subdivision family. Last and not least, my family. Thank you for believing in me to pursue this dream. And for those who was touched by her life in any way, I am truly grateful. Thank you.
Again, good morning. Good morning. I stand before you this morning to express one thing, and that's gratefulness. Grateful for my sister-in-law, Betty Pittman, who introduced the idea of renaming Bronough Street in honor of late Congresswoman Carrie Pittman Meek. Grateful for the city commissioners, county commissioners, mayor, and any other officials or authorities who took on this idea as very befitting to grant us this day. Grateful because the late Congresswoman Carrie Pittman Meek, in the personality of Aunt Tot to us, clearly understood love of family first and foremost. I can attest to that. And as a result, her love for people spread abroad and was represented by a cloud of witnesses as she did outreach as well as created policies to bless communities that extended beyond the boundaries of where she lived or served. Grateful for on this day, we are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses, and I believe that she is looking down from the balcony of heaven, and As she looks down, she's well pleased as we honor her today, renaming the street on her behalf. Last but not least, grateful that she was a great model and example of love that many experienced. We too are all inspired by the life she lived, and we can truly apply these words to her life on her behalf. And these words are driven by destiny. Her journey was a path taken and a road that she chose. The challenges and opposition was always around, but she chose to keep moving forward because when she could be of help, she didn't defer nor reject it. She seized the moment, knowing that she may not pass this way again. Again, I say to you, grateful. She became what she did. Thank you.
Thank you all for those inspiring and enlightening remarks. At this time, I'd like to introduce Dr. Shante Friday Stroud. She is the Dean of the School of Business and Industry at Florida A&M University, and she's also the Vice President for University Advancement.
Good morning. This is an awesome day. On behalf of our president, Dr. Larry Robinson, who is not in town yet, I bring you greetings. We are literally sitting just a few steps from our campus. And what an amazing woman Carrie Pittman Meek was. So before I ever came to Florida A&M University, I grew up in Miami, Florida. So I actually knew her from Miami, Florida, and her time representing as a state representative, as a senator, before ever coming to Florida A&M University. And then when I got here to Florida A&M University, I was actually in school with her son, Kendrick Meek. And when I think about the legacy of a woman and the impact and reach of all that she did, it's mind-blowing. It's way beyond the Allen community. And I know you all cherish her and hold her dear. But understand her impact was not only citywide in Miami, statewide here in Florida, nationally, but also internationally. When we think about all that she has done, the roads that she has paved for those of us to come behind her, she was a true trailblazer. And I'm just so happy that, again, not just to be a fellow alum of Florida A&M University, but also to have grown up knowing of her and her greatness from Miami, to then come and see from whence she's come. And so on behalf of Dr. Larry Robinson and Florida A&M University, we too are so proud that we will be adorned not just with the Meek Eton Black Archives, but we will be adorned with this street that many will pass day in and day out for years to come, the Carrie Pittman Meek Street. Thank you to everyone who made this happen, and for the family for really planting the seed. Again, we at Florida A&M University cannot express our gratitude that all that Ms. Meek did for us. And so again, we say thank you.
And thank you. Okay, we're almost there. The sign revealed itself a little early, but I'd like to say it's interesting and fitting that this sign sits where it sits, directly behind the Frederick Humphrey Science and Research Center, and that's the home of the Institute of Public Health at FAMU. And Carrie Meek received her bachelor's degrees in 1946 from FAMU in physical education and biology. Now, she went on to graduate school and in 1948 received a degree in public health, but from the University of Michigan. And that's because at the time, blacks were not allowed to go to graduate school in Florida. So before we go to the next phase, we'll have Dolores Harpool, the historian and researcher, come up and give final remarks about Carrie Meek.
Before you begin timing me, Diane, Cynthia, Karen, y'all got to do some educating about Alpha, Kappa Alpha, the Supreme. But you know what? I always say, though, I really don't get into this, who's better, who's bigger. If there were only one sorority, we'd all be members of it, because we all stand on the same principles. So I'm glad to see you, my sisters, here to support this occasion for your soror. Okay? I wish I were as eloquent a speaker as Mayor Daley and Brother Bill Proctor. I have to speak from my notes, or I'll forget everything. Okay. So to Mayor Daley, County Commissioner Bill Proctor, Chairman, that is, Bill Proctor, all city and county commissioners, other elected officials, family, and friends, I am so grateful to have this opportunity to participate in this unveiling ceremony in honor of the person that we looked up to for years in this neighborhood as our Tot Pittman. The late and Honorable Carrie Pittman Meek, actually, and a lot of people don't know this, actually grew up down the hill near, and this is based upon my extensive research, down the hill near the railroad tracks here. It was later when she moved up to this lot where her parents built the boarding house that was so popular. And I would imagine that during her early years, she had no idea that she would become so famous and wanted a street to be named in her honor. But as penned by Mark Antony, one day she discovered that she was fierce and strong and full of fire, and that not even she could hold herself back because her passion burned brighter than her fears. This is a woman that we're talking about who not only made an impact locally, but just as was just spoken, she made an impact throughout this state, throughout this nation, and internationally. We really celebrate her. Now, many of you may also not know, and we have to set the record straight here, talking about history. Many of you may also not know that there is a devoted group that helped to, first of all, bring about this display, some displays that you're going to see along FAMU Way. And the one thing is certainly giving honor to our God, who strengthens all of us, who enables all of us to hopefully serve according to his will. And I'll get to recognizing those people. But from the statement that we're making about Carrie Pittman, it reflects the life and legacy of a gigantuan figure coming out of this community. It brings to my mind an age-old biblical question. Can anything good come out of Nazareth?
Well,
applied today, can anything good come out of this humble Allen Subdivision? Well, like Nazareth, this humble place, it's a small, not so well known or highly regarded place for producing things or people of greatness. Can anything come out of Allen? Now, what everybody needs to know is that over 7 years ago, the groundwork was laid for this very occasion. We need to make sure we note that. This group of people who came together, and we're talking about grassroots people, we're very proud that we were able, Mr. Laverne Washington as leader, raise your hand, Laverne, was able to rally our humble people from this community to work hard so that we were able to document. We knew that when we do go forth to tell people about Allen Subdivision and who and what came out of Allen Subdivision, we need to have our act together. We need to make sure that we document what has happened and who has come out of Allen Subdivision. So there is a larger group that both Betty and I represent. The idea for this setting, for the street naming, started 7 years ago in 2015 when Laverne Washington was leading our local history group. And he was adamant about the fact that, hey folks, we got to pull together some information. We can't just go down into the city just talking. We've got to have hard research. We've got to have credible information to back up what we're saying and doing. And so he was able to rally this group of folks who laid the groundwork for this very celebration today. These are the people who got on the phone and called people. These are the people who sacrificed their time and their energy to sponsor various events that would help us to collect, to validate, and to communicate outwards information through settings like this about the essence and successes of people who came from this humble community. So it was in 2015 that the Allen Subdivision History Committee agreed under Washington's question that it is the Carrie Pittman Meek who is the most accomplished person coming out of this community and who should be the most highlighted in Allen Subdivision's history. With this, our leader, Laverne Washington, went to work. He got on the phone and he called to all the FAMU people. We thank you for all these years. You all have been there as great resources for us. Laverne Washington got on the phone and started calling people. He called Dr. Chin in the School of Architecture to give us some concrete ideas, some tangible ideas as an architect as to how can we honor Carrie Meek? How can we do something that would be noticeable and prominent? He also did all the searching and researching and finally found the application and the petition that was required to be signed for the event. Back in 2015 now, he reached out, as Commissioner Proctor will tell you, to Commissioner Proctor. He called the Honorable Carrie Meek's son, Kendrick, to try to make sure he could get him on board. And then, of course, after Betty, and we should thank Betty for getting around in the neighborhood to get the endorsements that were needed here. And after she got those, Laverne Washington walked with her to submit the actual application to make this happen today. Also, after the pandemic, so please, let's give him the recognition that is due. From 2015, when our group had been meeting. And also, of course, after this setting was done and publicized, and after the pandemic, Betty Pittman and I both appeared to the city and county commissions collectively to appeal for support for this very street naming event. So, here we are today. Now, I would like, if you don't mind, for members of the Allen Subdivision History Committee to please stand. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, come on. And I would like to quote, thank you all, I would like to quote from Helen Keller, "Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much." So We want to thank our civic leaders for supporting our idea. We want to thank Betty for having to get up and go back and try again the idea that the entire Allen Subdivision History Committee had discussed and promoted from back in 2015. So we certainly applaud Betty for her efforts and for her commitment to keep this ball rolling. All right? And finally, today signifies your answer to a question that I think, again, can apply right here today. Can anything good come from Allen Subdivision? Your event here today gives us a resounding yes. Something and someone, not only good, but the greatest, can and has come out of Allen Subdivision. Thank you so much for honoring Carrie Pittman Meek, for supporting our group's idea from way back in 2015. And we just picked up the ball this year, Betty did, and went back downtown to fight for it again with the right name this time, okay? And for inviting us to participate and certainly set the record straight here today in behalf of these grassroots folks who really made this event happen today. God bless you.
Thank you. Before we go over to the sign, Commissioner Proctor has received an important phone call he'd like for you to listen in on.
Good morning again. Tola Thompson, always the top aide, has secured Kendrick, the Honorable Kendrick Meeks' connection here, and he's going to share now his comments with you. Congressman, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Commissioner, and I want to thank everyone in attendance, and a special thanks to my cousin Betty Jean, who's worked very hard on making this day possible with the committee. I apologize for personally not being there. Unfortunately, I have a conflict actually in Puerto Rico as I speak now to attend the wedding of a very, very, very dear friend. Unfortunately, it fell on the same day and made it impossible for me to be in two places at one time. I just want to say on behalf of my sister, Lucia and Sheila, how much we truly, truly appreciate the recognition of such a wonderful, dynamic woman. Last night, I was thinking about, we call her the Congresswoman, and as the Commissioner knows, and Tola knows, and others, she was such a dynamic woman, and I was just reflecting on her life of where it all started. There on what used to be Bronough Street, it's now Carrie Pittman Meek Street, which is really something that only God could have envisioned for us to celebrate in the moment. Someone that grew up there at the Pittman House and walked up that hill to FAMU, and then in 19 boarded a train going to Michigan to get her master's degree, not because of the fact that she wanted to see snow for the first time, it's because of segregation. She couldn't go to the all-girls school there at Florida State. But what she got there, where y'all are now, that education from her father, really, from her mother, Carrie, is just something that changed the world. Her education there on the highest of 7 hills allowed her to lead in the area of education at FAMU and at Bethune-Cookman and at Miami-Dade College later, then to become a legislator. And I was sharing with my wife last night that when she was working on her PhD, she stayed, in a trailer park by herself for a whole year to get her PhD And I would go see her on the weekends. I was staying with my aunt over in South Bay. Carrie Meek is once in a lifetime person that crossed our path. And I can't tell you how we are so appreciative as a family to have the Tallahassee, Leon County, and Big Bend area and the FAMU broader family to embrace her as a hero in our lives. And there's no greater honor than having the street that she grew up on named after her. And I know that she is smiling down on us. My grandparents are smiling down on us. Betty Jean, your father is smiling down on us. So the entire family just really, we just want to say thank you. And again, my sisters are sorry that they couldn't be there either, but I know that we have all been in town for various dedications that have taken place. The legislators, and also the placard that's there on the property. So, Commissioner, my leader, thank you so very much for getting me on. I feel a lot better now that I was able to address the good people that are there. And again, to the committee, thank you. And all of you who are there who are sending me text and messages asking if I was going to be in attendance. I want to thank you also for your love and appreciation. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Congressman, and you know I love you. I love your mother. After you, I think Tola was next, and after Tola, I think I'm behind Tola. Loving your mother. And we thank you for taking the time in Puerto Rico, and I'm giving you enough time to know that in February of next year is my birthday, so you need to make up for this and be in town in February when my birthday gonna be. All right. Love you, man. God bless. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. And at this time, we will have the elected officials and family go over to the sign and take pictures. Thank you.